Students, this video is all about the scientific method. Sometimes this is referred to as the inquiry process. Whenever there is a problem or a question to be solved, scientists will use the scientific method. It's really just a way to observe and study and come up with an explanation based on observation. So it's a way to problem solve. The very first step in the scientific process is to ask a question. This has to be based on your observations. For example, you notice that you go to your locker, you put in your combination, you try to open it, and oh boy, it doesn't open. So the question that you guys might ask is, why is my locker not opening? The things about a good question is that it has to have real answers. So why is my locker not opening? Does that have a real answer? Yes, it does. Is it testable? Yeah, you can probably figure out with an experiment why it might not be testing. So you can try different things to test it. Hypothesis is falsifiable, and what that means is that you can get no for an answer. So you can get a wrong answer. So, you could put in, maybe you think that it's not working because you put in a wrong combination. So maybe you try a different combination and that's not it. So your hypothesis is incorrect, which means it's falsifiable, and that's actually making sure that that's a good question. Your question should also be halfway interesting or at least relevant. Figuring out why your locker is not opening, that's a pretty relevant question. The second thing you need to do is you need to research and observe. So you need a little bit of background information, like you have to know your combination, you have to know that it's the right locker. So those are some research and observation and background information. The next one is to develop a hypothesis. A hypothesis is not a fact, but you will think will happen based off of observations and inferences. When we write out our hypothesis, we usually write them as if, then, because. So if this happens, then this will happen because this is why I think. The step 4 is to test the hypothesis. All of our experiments have to be controlled experiment. And what that means by controlled is that we're only going to test one variable at a time. Variables, there's two different types. There's the independent, which is also known as the manipulated. This is the thing that has to be changed in the experiment. So it's changed on purpose. So if we change this, then it's going to change our results, okay? It's going to change the other things that we're measuring. So our dependent variable, which is also known as our responding variable, this changes as a result to change the manipulated. So if we change the manipulated, the responding variable is what responds to that change. Another way of thinking about the dependent variable is, what are we measuring in the end? How will we know that it worked? Step 5 is to analyze or evaluate your results. You need to be able to draw a conclusion from it. One way that scientists analyze their results is usually by making graphs. We're going to go more in detail about scientific graphs, but it gives you a very visual representation and it easily allows you to find the patterns within your data. Step 6 is a conclusion. So what? So it's a summary of what you learned from the experiment. Step 5 is to communicate your results. Scientists and the general public rely on scientists to report results accurately. The GFP is the green fluorescent protein. There were scientists that found this fluorescent protein in some jellyfish. They communicated their results, and now we are able to apply that green fluorescent protein into genetics. Most time it's used as a marker, but it can also be used in glowfish. And none of this would have happened if they hadn't have communicated their results. Sometimes a hypothesis can turn into a theory. Scientists propose a statement that has been tested in multiple results, such as the Big Bang Theory. That's different than a scientific law, because a scientific law is going to tell you exactly what's going to happen every time under certain conditions. So if you're on Earth, if you throw something up, it's going to fall down. That's a law of gravity because it's able to predict what's going to happen within that certain set of conditions. Thank you.